So during my 2019 research trip, I decided to do a more in-depth exploration of the Lateswald field defenses, and I follow the field road which runs from the Monkey Wrench Woods near Tettingen towards Nennig, and it passes the northwest part of the Lateswald, and this is where I entered the forest on this simple forest road. And I decided to do a voiceover for you on this video because when going through these trenches and through the woods, there's a lot of distracting noise of me going through leaves and foliage and stuff like that. So as you can see, these fighting trenches, what remains of them, they clearly zigzag through the forest. You can see me coming up to a sharp left angle, and on some instances these trenches connect to observation posts and stuff like that. Making my way through these trenches is not the easiest thing to do. As you can see, there's lots of foliage going on there, branches, stuff like that to go through. And now and then there's all kinds of stuff lying around. Here we have a metal bar, or actually two metal bars of some kind. I'm not sure when they were left behind. And there's some shallow holes and deeper holes. Anyway, I'm continuing my way through the trench. This is a more straight part, but you can see where the trees are that it zigzags to the right again. And it's fairly close to the edge of the woods. And this is basically the part where I am getting to Nennig, and there's a bigger, what seems to be a bigger position over there. There's lots of trenches going on the wood, on the forest floor, and then there are some deeper holes and stuff. And here you can see basically the hill that is going down into the village of Nennig. In front there was a big hole. Here you see it again. That might be an observation post or a shelter of some kind. And in the background you can see the first houses of Nennig. And this is where you go into Nennig. If we walk this forest path down, you can actually walk down the Feldstraße in Nennig. And here you can clearly see the houses, and you can also see that troops that were uphill had a very good view, had an excellent view actually of Nennig. So here you see the gully going downhill, and if I follow the gully down, I will eventually get to the forest road that leads to the Feldstraße in Nennig. And this part of Nennig, the basically northeastern part, here you can see this forest road. This northeastern part was the part where the Germans frequently attacked from. So I'm making my way uphill again. As you can see, this is a very small forest trail going up, and getting up there is quite a climb, I can assure you. So I'm making my way back to where the German trench starts. It's a little hard to make out where that is exactly, but as you can see, I'm getting there. Here you see it coming again. It's very shallow, but as I move the camera up and down, you can more easily see the lines of the trenches. Now there's, as I was saying, there's a lot of stuff lying around on the forest floor, and I'm not sure what these are, but I thought I'd film them. These are fairly big metal parts. This could be, something to secure a chimney, but it might also be a tank part, I'm not sure. So making my way back, I again followed the trenches to where I originally started walking through this forest. As you can see, this is a beautiful deciduous forest. It's late November, but there's many leaves still on. So I continue my way through these German trenches, following these very shallow trenches, and this is more of the communication trench type. The zigzagging is not as clear as it was before, and it's fairly shallow after almost 80 years of foliage falling into it. Here you got a small turn to the left again, to where this branch is, and you can see it continuing in the middle of the frame. And then where the fallen trees are, there's more zigzagging going on, but it's still shallow. And as you can see, to where the light is, these trenches are basically very near the edge of the woods. They're not very far out, and on some occasions you can follow the trench to the woods edge, and there might be a firing position or an observation post of some sorts. Okay, moving on again. You see this trench zigzagging, and here's what appears to be a chair. It could be, a seat from a vehicle of some sort. This is probably not World War II vintage, but I'm not sure. You see lots of stuff being left behind in these forests, and some is obviously World War II vintage, other stuff is not. Now near the horizon you can see the Monkey Wrench Woods. This is obviously the Lateswald again, where it makes a turn. But you can basically see Monkey Wrench Woods from the Lateswald. Making my way through the trenches again, you can see them zigzag, and here you see the trench splits towards where you can again see the Monkey Wrench Woods on the horizon. And you see where these observation posts are. You have this magnificent view of the surrounding countryside. So it would be very difficult for any troops to advance on such a position without being seen. Now I'm making my way basically further southeast towards Tettingen again, still in the Lateswald, and then eventually I reached the end of the position where an MG position was. It had stone reinforced walls, and if you imagine all this underbrush is removed, you have an amazingly clear view towards Tettingen. You see these trees in the center of the image. Beyond that is the Monkey Wrench Woods, but you have a fairly good view of the fields that are between this MG position and Monkey Wrench Woods. In fact, you can see clearly all the way to Tettingen if these trees were not there. So this concludes this small video on the northwestern part of the Lateswald. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you like these videos, and I hope to see you in the next video I make in the Zarr-Moselle Triangle.